next 12 or 13 minutes, I'll have to talk on role of PET imaging in vulnerable plaque. So introduction is all our present understanding of major cardiovascular events is centered around atherosclerotic plaque and the process that leads to acute plaque rupture producing MI. Then atherosclerosis is characterized by lipid deposition within the arterial intima. This lipid becomes oxidized, triggers an inflammatory response consisting of macrophages. So what these macrophages do? These macrophages engulf lipid particles to form foam cells laden with lipid. These pro-inflammatory cellular phenotypes produces acute plaque rupture and the rest of the things. So what imaging can offer? Imaging can provide assessment of luminal stenosis, plaque burden, plaque characteristics, disease activity, and ischemia about coronary atherosclerosis. Advances in imaging offers the potential to identify individuals at higher risk of myocardial infarction, the vulnerable patient. I name them the vulnerable patient. These individuals might then be selected and targeted with aggressive therapy to prevent future events. The next challenge is to demonstrate that these imaging techniques can have a beneficial and cost-effective on the cardiovascular outcomes. So what are the characteristics of an unstable ruptured culprit plaques? What are the characteristics? Extensive inflammation, a large necrotic core, which Dr. Priya showed, a thin fibrous cap, that is thin cap fibroatheroma in inflamed lesion. This cap becomes thinned out, weakened by the action of matrix metalloproteinase, predisposing to rupture. Then there is a positive remodeling with a large plaque volume. Then comes the microcalcification. Then comes the neovascularization, that is called neoangiogenesis in atherosclerotic lesion, plays a major role in plaque growth and plaque destabilization, this neovascularization. So see a vulnerable plaque, the images that's showing a inflammation. You can say that that is a inflammation, and there's a macrophage infiltration, there's a lumen, and there's a large necrotic core. These are the spotty calcifications, and here that is called the angiogenesis, neoangiogenesis things. So before I go to the detail, I would like to see how a stable plaque looks. See, you can see that the stable plaque looks here. There's a good necrotic core, good necrotic stabilized core with a obliterated lumen, and this is the lumen of the artery. But just see at the right side, you can see the atheromatous thin cap fibroma atheromatous plaque, which can rupture anytime. Compare both the things. So this is a stable plaque with a stable necrotic core, and this is an unstable plaque with a thin cap fibroatheroma. So who are the patients to be benefited? Acute coronary syndrome patients, ACS, continuous chest pain lasted for more than 30 minutes, new leg bundle branch blocked, elevated cardiac markers, troponin T, then chronic stable angina, then abnormal myocardial perfusion CTKV, which Dr. Pradhan has already spoken. So what are the exclusion criteria? Who cannot be subjected? The patients with pregnancy, history of allergy to iodinated contrast material, history of renal dysfunction in post-MI with serum creatinine more than 1.5 milligram per DL, inability to hold breath and follow instruction. Then what are the different PET radiotracers in plaque imaging in current practice? You know that 18-fluorodeoxyglucose is a very old molecule and not that specific. I'll come to that later on. Then the hot molecule is sodium 18F sodium chloride. Then comes gallium-68 dotactate. Then C11 PK 195, 18F fluorocholine, 18F fluoromethindazole, this is a hypoxic agent. Then 18F RGDK5, then the galactose. So this is a molecular targets. You can see both two things. One is the macrophages here, and this is called the 18F FDM. Then here the FDG glucose occurs in a macrophage. Then the gallium C dotactate in somatostatin receptor, Then comes here the 18F microcalcification that is called sodium chloride. And this is called gallium silicate nota and F18 galacto RGD. This works with the neoglucogenesis. And this is the fibrous cap. This is a schematic diagram about the PET molecules. So coming to 18F fluorodeoxyglucose, as you know, PET F18 FDG has been used in oncology for many years and was first utilized to image the atherosclerosis in the carotid artery in 2002. It accumulates intracellular in tissue with high metabolic activity, does not have any affiliation with microcalcification, except an affiliation only to macrophage as a part of inflammation, therefore being used as a non-specific marker of vascular inflammation in aorta, carotid, and femoral. So coronary artery uptake is often obscured by the adjacent myocardial signal, which is the main limitation for this agent. So therefore, quantifying the vulnerable plaque using F18 FDG in smaller coronary arteries remains a challenge because of the spatial resolution limited to 6 mm with significant FDG uptake in the myocardium, then plus significant cardiac and respiratory motion that further degrade the PET signal, again complicating assessment of mid to distal coronary. So what is the next choice? Next choice is F18 sodium chloride. 18F sodium chloride, you all know, has been used as a bone tracer for many years for detection of bony metastases for many decades, but has now found potential application in hybrid cardiac imaging. How they work? By exchanging fluoride ions with hydroxyl ions in hydroxyapatite crystal. So the ligand of F18 sodium chloride is a hydroxyapatite component. So early vascular microcalcification occurs. So there they are tagged with F18 sodium chloride. In a prospective study of patients, one study with MI, higher fluorinated sodium chloride uptake was found in culprit or the unstable plaques compared with non-culprit plaques. So the Dweck et al., he observed in 119 patients a strong correlation between the F18 sodium chloride uptake and coronary calcium score. Very interesting that 40% of the participants out of 119 patients with coronary calcium scoring more than 1,000 had normal uptake. Thereby, one can differentiate biological active plaques from stable atheromatous region. This is a very good learning point, teaching point in this study. So, what are the acquisition for the protocol? I don't want to go to detail. Patients are injected with 140, 185 megabecquerel of F18 sodium chloride. Images are acquired with hybrid PET-CT scanner. I think 128 slices per second is the choice where you can see the coronary. Low dose contrast enhancement, then least mode acquisition with F18 sodium chloride. The attenuation correction, then oral metoprolol is given to achieve the heart rate of 60 to 70 beats per minute. Approximately 60 to 7 ml IV contrast omniplex is given. Correlation analysis performed by using a software. So this is what two patients of acute MI. The first patient here is the acute patient where there is totally a severe block in the LAD and while showing a very good uptake of F18 chloride in the LAD, proximal LAD. Here also another patient of acute MI, there is a 100% block here and is a big atheromatous plaque. And this data suggests the culprit plaque is more increased in using sodium iodide than the non-culprit plaque. Then comes the gallium-60 reductant. This targets the somatostatin receptor on the surface of activated pro-inflammatory macrophages. Somatostatin receptors are also expressed on activated macrophages and act as a target for the tracer. It has been demonstrated exclusively that expression of somatostatin receptor in macrophages and damaged endothelial cells with atherosclerotic plaque showing improved discrimination of culprit and high-risk plaques. Then comes the C11PK11195. This is targeted, again, activated macrophages with greater specificity, targeting translocator protein receptors and macrophage cell membranes. Then gallium-68 nota, which I was talking about, neoangiogenesis and F18 galacto. So neoangiogenesis is a key feature of vulnerable atheromatous region. As you are aware, intraplaque angiogenesis with hemorrhage is mainly associated with thin cap, atheroma, and macrophage infiltration. Migration and proliferation of endothelial cells lead to formation of angiogenic board. So angiogenesis may contribute to atherosclerosis and plaque instability. So the traces of gallium-68 nota RGD and F18 galacto RGD can be labeled. And this is called the fluoromethyl chlorine. This agent is used for CA, prostate, and metastasis. But it correlates strongly with macrophage infiltration, at least in aortic atheroscleral lesions, than that of F18 FDG, which is an all-purpose imaging agent. So I'll just show you one study, or one or two study. A 57-year-old man with type 2 diabetes mellitus presented with a non-ST elevation of myocardial infarction and underwent a PCI with 2 drug-related stents in the proximal RCA and posterior left ventricular artery. 6 months later, he presented with another non-STEMI. Invasive coronary angiography demonstrated a severe stent restenosis in the proximal stent and another severe de novo stenosis. OCT.
1 minute left.
Yes. OCT is another invasive imaging procedure, demonstrates plaque rupture with red thrombus in the mid vessel, and following that, you can see the patient underwent a sodium chloride PET CT, which demonstrated 3 discrete, which I'll show you, 3 discrete lesions of focal uptake of sodium chloride in proximal, mid, and distal RCA. The highest uptake with increased standardized uptake value was extremely high and was found to be the culprit lesion. In contrast to the RCA, the diffuse disease LAD had non-obstructive calcific plaque with no significant uptake without higher risk features of CTCA and did not demonstrate any F18 FDG. Now you can see here, there are three F18 FDG uptake here, and in this is LAD, there is no uptake here at all. So this is called a stable plaque. This is called a unstable plaque. So this I will pass on. Then I'll come to the conclusion slides. Nuclear cardiology procedures are no doubt the state-of-the-art procedures in the present-day clinical practice in diagnosis, prognosis, and guidance of therapy in CAD and non-CAD patients. The field of cardiovascular atherosclerosis imaging is rapidly expanding with increasing availability of non-invasive tools of CT, PET, and CMR in particular. PET has emerged as a predominant non-invasive imaging tool for characterizing arterial inflammation and guide the proper treatment planning to reduce vascular inflammation. It can provide important prognostic information related to vascular biology. Hybrid imaging with PET CT, PET MR, they are also promising. So further, the F18 sodium chloride uptake value in magnitude can be used as a criteria to differentiate between culprit, unstable, and non-culprit, stable in MI patient, useful in cases of the multi or double or single vessel disease. Thank you all for your attention. I will invite all to the 3rd World Congress Physical Conference in Cardiac Imaging Clinical Cardiology in 28 to 30th October 2022. Next year, I hope that by that time the corona will completely go away. Let's keep our finger crossed. Thank you very much.